Why Matrix programs you to never look at the whole picture. So, I have a few examples to share. So, okay, for example, especially beauty standards, if you see how they have really, they are really, for example, I have acne scars, okay, from my childhood, from my teenage, whatever. So, people will really point out that, that, oh, this, I mean, not, see, I'm not saying that they are trying to, like, they're really trying to put me down or something, but they're really programmed that way. I'm not saying that they're really trying to, they're really programmed that way to spot imperfections. It's so much, it's so zoomed out in their head. Ego does that. Ego will always look at our imperfections, they will never look at the whole picture. That's how it works. Even in schools, when you used to, your color should not never go out of the picture, and sometimes teacher would just lash out at children or students, if you ever did that. Like, that is so traumatic for a child, that short mistake. And parents who really beat their children up or really scolded them for small mistakes of their, they are never able to build confidence, in the future. And and ego makes you do that. Ego will make you hyper specific. you know it will not make you look at the whole picture. Oh, you're gonna especially those TV ads. Have you seen? Oh, I got pimple today. I'll do face wash. I don't know what face wash she's gonna do. I have my date today. I got this pimple today, and I don't know. It's so crazy. Like, how these ads are. They're really trying to point. And pura chehra sahi hai yaar. You want that one damn pimple, and it's just you have to buy this new face wash now for this damn one pimple. And I don't know. You know, if you look at beauty standards as well, you should not have such a big nose. You should get it like that. You should have lips like that, like those. And they are, these actresses, they really live in very toxic environment. As much as I hear these, actresses, these stories, they always say, this director told us, that director told us. So if somebody keeps repeating to you those things ever and ever again, if you see Kangna Ranaut's interview, you see Vidya Balan's interview, Anushka Sharma also mentioned it once or twice, when that you are not looking that good, you're not that good, but your acting is good, and aise kuch. So if you hear their interviews, they really live in a very toxic environment, and anybody is bound to feel it, someday or the other, that they have to change something about their face, have to change something about their whole body. And you see that today's actresses, everybody is doing that. It's in the air, you know so, like, what is wrong? We are so programmed to look at our imperfections. You should get this nose straight, you have a big nose, get it. When are we going to admire the whole picture? When are we going to? And I swear on to, like, I swear, I can never fall in love, and I can never like somebody until and unless they really open their mouth. I can't do that, you know because and you have also might have experienced that, if somebody maybe is very charming, is very beautiful or whatever, and as soon as they open their mouth, it doesn't make sense to you. I don't know, the face just becomes so dull, isn't it? And if you will always find your mother very lovely, right? You can never find her not beautiful. Like, it can just never happen, isn't it? Your mother will do the most beautiful face for you for your whole life, isn't it? Even if she gets old, aged, whatever, because you are already in love with her, right? You felt her warmth, felt her sweetness, so you can never find her. I don't even use the word. Of course, you cannot find her. So, yeah, I mean, Like, when did we really stop looking at the whole picture and we became so addicted to the faces? We got so addicted to the small imperfections. We started using concealers, the name itself, concealers. We're trying to conceal something. I don't know where do we really use it also. But yeah, the name itself, you know we have to hide something. I remember I was in a shop, and a salesperson was trying to really sell some makeup product to that woman. And how he said that, how he was trying to sell it, that I mean, this will hide your spots, this will hide your scars and stuff like that. So this is one example of beauty standard. Yeah. Then yeah, I actually was thinking about this. So of course, I as a child, I always ask questions. I don't know, I don't get the whole idea of many things, so always ask questions. So I never really had a very good view of Sri Ram. Okay, now listen to the whole thing before everybody comes on to me like, what is she saying? So I'm very much a God person, but just please listen the whole video. So I had questions. I cannot lie about that. And I'm very honestly and sincerely, innocently, we're asking my questions, because I want to get my answers, and that's not bad at all. So I had questions because I don't know, I never get the idea of why Sri Ram was Lord. Because, when I got to know that Sita Ma had to give Agni Pariksha, I never got the whole idea. Like, why she had to give the Agni Pariksha? Isn't it Ravana who abducted Sita? And, this whole thing. Then somebody asked the same question to Sadhguru. So, Sadhguru is also my guru. And of course, um, I resonate, with him, and I have learned a lot from him. So, yes. So, somebody asked the same question, from Sadhguru. Then Sadhguru, when he said that, I mean, he, you know, how we pick up a few things, we are not looking at the whole picture of what things Rama did. And, so I think he really took a stand for Sri Ram, and he really tried to explain what his personality was. He said the whole picture, that he went from the north, he went to Sri Lanka. At that time, there were no cars, no nothing. He went and really, you would, in today's world, you're gonna, if your wife dies or gets abducted or something, you might gonna find a solution in your neighborhood, like you're gonna remarry or something. Nowadays we live in the days of situationships, come on. So open relationship or situationships, different things are all there. So yeah, we live in a world like that now. But at that point, he was and kings can marry, can marry anyone. It won't be a loss to a prince. He can marry. So he could have married, but he didn't. He literally, for all those years, he went and saved Sita from Ravana. And he did his job as a husband. He did his duty as a husband. And job, duty, like, I think it was his love. That would be much better. Call aa raha hai yaar. 1 minute. So it was Sri Ram's. I was saying job and duty. No, I think it was his love for his wife, that he went along the whole way. He saved her. And then he gave the whole picture, that look at the man he is. But we just picked up that one damn imperfection and put it in our mind, because Matrix has really programmed us that God is always in the temple. You want to find God in the temple, you want to find that divine in that, and you stay human. And it's okay for human to sin, and it's okay, humans apple kha hi lete hain. That Bible story, it happens with, you can be sly, you can be this. But the Sanatana Dharma, always saw human as a potential of becoming divine, you know and yeah, now you see that there are terms coming up like divine feminine, divine masculines, and I found it very embarrassing. These terms are really embarrassing, but to be put on to any human or something like that. But then I thought, I mean, that's the stupidity we've been doing, our whole lives. That's how we are separating God and human. you know God is always supposed to be in that shrine. God is always supposed to be in a temple, and it's easy to take off the responsibility of being a divine, you know and you feel more freer. That's not how it's done. You choose to be divine every time, every second, every moment of your life. And there should be no embarrassment of putting using the labels as divine. And we should strive to become divine every moment of our lives. We should strive to choose, make decisions of our life in that way. It should become the new normal. Come on. you know so yeah, I mean, then he gives the whole picture that how he did what he did, and his heart was also getting broken when he sent Sita to the forest. He also cried, he also felt the pain, but he did it because he had to do it. As he did it his due He did his duty as a king. He didn't wanted his the subjects, the praja, the kingdom, to feel that he was being partial, or it's okay to how that how the thing goes. So he gave the whole picture, and he tried to explain like how we just pick up, and at that point I was right. We have just so, you know we have made things like God in the shrine to be completely perfect. Only an ego can think this way, okay? And for a human, sitting in a house, or who's going to the shrine and temple every day, it's okay for him to sin, sometimes lie, and sometimes do crimes. He can go to the temple again and say sorry to the divine, who is completely perfect, who is completely forgiving, and he is love and he is God. I think only ego looks at things that way, but soul knows that a God can have imperfections, and a human can strive for perfections. Human has a potential to become divine. A soul will look at things in a very balanced way, whereas ego is really going to distort it. you know Ego is going to completely look at God in a very perfect light. We want to look at God in a very perfect light, and we're going to pick up his small imperfections, and really trying to do that with God. And with us, we take the liability of being human. Ego is going to completely imbalance it and see things in a very distorted way. Whereas, this, what do we say? Soul realizes, and sees that how gods can be imperfect at times, and gods also learn. I was shocked when I saw this, in this Hindu mythology, when I saw Parvati Mata, she goes down to earth and she learns a lesson from humans. So at that time, it completely, just like breaks my mind. Like, what? I mean, it just opens my mind. What is break my mind? She completely opens my mind to, yeah, gods can learn from humans too. Why is it only ego that thinks, oh no, a human is only going to learn from God, and not even learn. He's going to do the puja, he's going to do the aarti. Never strive to be divine in himself. Divine is always going to be in the shrine. I am not going to be that divine. That's how ego is programmed, and this, it distorts to see our it distorts our reality. Whereas soul, it's different. you know So yeah, that one thing is that. And then now we have the third point that I really want. Now we have very artificial, vegetables, completely red color, completely, stripes free, or stripes are also very, we are having very artificial grown vegetables and fruits nowadays. They're really trying to make it very artificial. Like, we are completely denying natural ways, or naturally, we're not trusting the nature anymore. you know we are really trying to, as if we're trying to, we're really trying to make a world which is very machine like, perfectly round. They're really putting these. So what do? They are getting these containers, like for example, a round shaped container they will get, and they will put it, on a fruit or something which is yet to grow. And when it will grow, because of that constraint of the container, it will get a complete round shape. So I've seen it. This is really happening. I think I saw it in China, because China can only do that. So I was seeing it happening in China. So rather than, we are completely denying imperfections somehow. And look at a tree, how it is bent and broken, and, and it is still trying to grow, and we're just denying nature. We're coming into, we're trying to come into very artificial world, you know, where things are good to the eyes, but when it reaches heart, it dies down somehow. So I hope I discussed these points well enough. Let me know in the comment section if you have something to, share, or you can give me other examples of, where we are just simply pointing out our imperfections rather looking at the whole picture. How we are just, sometimes we really beat ourselves up, for, sometimes we do something wrong or something, we are literally going to beat ourselves up for that one imperfection, because we have been trained that way. No mistakes. But why don't we see the other whole picture? you know how good we are in certain things, or, we miss out on saying thank yous, but we'll make sure that, the other person, we make sure that other person says sorries, or admit his mistakes. So yeah, these are the things that are there. So thank you for watching the video. If you have, your own comments and opinions that you can give, so would love to know in the comments. Thank you.